In a world obsessed with noise, constant opinions, and restless chasing, there lies a forgotten power, silence. In this 10-minute life lesson, a wise man shares the profound truth behind the idea. Stay silent and everything will come naturally. Through heartfelt stories, reflections, and powerful insights, you'll discover how embracing silence can bring clarity, strength, and alignment with your true self. Take 10 minutes, listen deeply, reflect fully, and you may just change the course of your life. If this message resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more soul-nourishing wisdom every week. In a world that never stops talking, silence has become rare. We're taught to speak up, chase fast, explain ourselves constantly. But let me tell you something I've learned the hard way. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all. There was a time in my life when I believed answers came from doing more action, more explanation, more control. But life has its own rhythm, and when you try to force it, it resists. When you stay silent, when you pause, when you let go, that's when things start to unfold naturally. Not because you chased them, but because you allowed them. I remember a young man came to me once, frustrated that nothing in his life was moving. He said, "I'm trying so hard. I keep pushing, talking, convincing others, but nothing's changing." I looked at him and said, "You're trying to make a river flow by screaming at it. Sit by the bank, let it flow, listen." A few months later, he returned, calmer, clearer, lighter. He had learned to be still, and in that stillness, he found direction. You see, silence is not the absence of noise, it's the presence of awareness. When you go silent, you begin to see, not just the world, but yourself. You start hearing what your mind never noticed. The quiet wisdom your soul has been whispering for years. That's the voice that guides you without forcing you. We live in a world of instant responses, but wisdom doesn't rush, it waits. Have you noticed? The most grounded people don't talk much. They speak when needed, and when they do, people listen. Because silence is what gives words their weight. Staying silent also protects your peace. Not every argument deserves your energy. Not every misunderstanding needs your correction. Sometimes your silence teaches more than your explanation ever could. Not in arrogance, but in self-respect. You don't need to prove your worth. You just need to know it. In silence, nature blooms. No flower makes noise when it opens. No tree screams when it grows. Yet they reach their full potential just by being aligned with their season. You too have a season, but you'll miss it if you're too busy talking over your own life. When you stay silent, the right people will find you. The right ideas will come to you. The right paths will unfold before you because your energy will be calm, open, and receptive. You don't attract peace by fighting chaos. You attract peace by becoming it. Now, I'm not telling you to be passive. I'm telling you to be intentional. Speak from wisdom, not impulse. Act from stillness, not fear. There's a time to speak, a time to move. But if you rush it, you'll miss the deeper rhythm that guides everything. So next time you're overwhelmed, don't react. Pause, breathe, stay silent, and listen. Let life show you what it's trying to say. Let your heart whisper what your mind keeps shouting over. And remember this, the quieter you become, the more you hear. The less you force, the more flows. Stay silent, and everything will come, naturally. In a world that never stops talking, silence feels uncomfortable, almost unfamiliar. But what if I told you, silence is the very soil where clarity grows? I've seen it in my life again and again. When I stopped speaking just to be heard and started listening to understand, that's when life truly began to unfold. There's a quiet power in holding back when the world demands a reaction, a strength in choosing peace over proving a point. Most people mistake silence for weakness, but listen closely. Still waters run deep, and the ones who don't speak often tend to speak wisely when they do. I once mentored a young woman, brilliant, passionate, but scattered. Every time a challenge came, she reacted quickly, loudly, trying to solve everything at once. One day I said to her, "When you're on fire inside, the world reflects chaos. When you're still, it reflects clarity." She began practicing silence, not just with her mouth, but with her mind, And with time, things that once overwhelmed her now moved around her like wind brushing past a mountain. You see, silence is not empty. It's full of answers. But we drown those answers in noise, scrolling, speaking, overthinking. We don't need to always explain ourselves, justify our worth, or fill the silence with sound. Sometimes it's in the quiet that we finally hear who we really are. When you stop talking, you start noticing how others move, what energies surround you, where your intuition is guiding you. You begin to see patterns, feel truths, catch what once flew past unnoticed. Silence sharpens your senses. It reconnects you with the present moment, the only place life truly happens. I remember an old man I met while traveling through a remote village in the mountains. He barely spoke a word, yet the entire community respected him. One day I asked him, "Why do you speak so little?" He smiled and replied, "Because most noise is just the ego wanting attention. Truth speaks in whispers." That stayed with me. Truth speaks in whispers, and only the silent can hear it. When you remain silent during your struggles, you conserve energy. You give yourself space to process. Not every wound needs to be posted online. Not every setback needs to be explained. Sometimes the best healing happens in private. Let your growth be your announcement. Let your peace be your loudest response. Silence also teaches you patience. You stop trying to control timing. You stop running after what isn't ready for you to. Instead, you wait. You trust. You align. And slowly, life begins to bring you what's meant for you, without the chaos, without the chase. You become more magnetic when you stop explaining yourself. Your silence starts speaking for you. People feel your presence, not your performance. They respect your restraint more than your reaction. And when you do speak, your words carry weight because they've been forged in thought, in experience, in patience. In your relationships, personal, professional, romantic, silence allows space for reflection. It helps you listen better. It teaches you to respond, not react. You learn to observe without judgment, to understand without interruption. That kind of presence is rare and powerful. So today I invite you not to speak less, but to speak with intention. Not to withdraw from life, but to walk with awareness. Let silence be your teacher. Let stillness be your strength. Because when you stay silent, everything that's meant for you comes naturally, in its own time, in its own way, and always right on time. If this message spoke to your soul, take a moment to reflect in silence. Then, when you're ready, leave a comment with A to let me know you're walking the silent path. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs a moment of peace today.